A very good morning to you and welcome to the Morning Dew Show here on Dissect TV, the cradle of goodness. Remember, you can reach us on our social media handles, that is Instagram, Facebook and Twitter at Dissect TV. Our SMS number is 0724 121 812. The hashtag is the Morning Dew Show. Now, this Monday morning, my name is Mungai.
And my name is Andy Mikey Lambo.
Yes, so this Monday morning, we are very hyped and ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Now today we have a lot lined up for you, but first let's look at what is happening on the headlines.
Today being the July 4th of 2022, the Daily Nation has a lot. Let's take the front page. Politics of Unga. With the prices of a 2 kg pack of maize meal crossing the 200 shilling mark for the first time in decades, and the cost of essential household commodities rising by more than 50% of runaway inflation in an election year have become folders for political away from the bombast of rallies and call-out speeches. Kenyans want solutions to their woes, and they want them now. We'll be talking more about this story because it's a very big story, and it continues on page 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We'll be able to discuss on how these people, with using their different manifestos, have been able to tell us what we should be expecting when they get into government. Yeah.
Okay, looking at the Standard here, the main story that is on the first page. Uhuru Jibe at DP Ruto sparks war of words. Yeah, and we'll be talking about that, how they are exchanging words here. It's on page 6 on the Standard. Now, there's another story here. Judiciary keeping IEBC on a narrow path as polls nears. Yeah, we know that election is nearing. We're actually at how many days now?
36 days.
36 days to election. And IEBC is, of course, preparing for that day, and judiciary is actually on it still. They are taking part in it. So we're going to look at that. That is on page 10 and page 11 on the Standard. But right now, let's review the newspapers in the first story.
And we go directly to the Daily Nation, where it's Decision 2022, Politics of Unga. By there, you know, the Unga, for the first time in the economy of Kenya, is past 200 shillings.
Imagine.
You know.
From 79 shillings.
From 75 shillings.
75.
Yeah. Now it's at 200 and something.
What is happening?
200 and I think it's the cost of living, and that we don't have rains right now. So the farmers are also having a problem, but it really falls down to our economy. Yeah, and if we look at this, if we take let's talk about Ruto's take on how he's going to deal with this. And if you look at the Daily Nation today morning, it says his first stuff, what he was going to do, is going to do about agriculture, so that we have reduced prices to our foods and everything. He says he will increase farm production by addressing the cost of quality and access of inputs by providing some farmers with working capital to buy them. That is on Ruto's side. And if we take this other side and look at Raila, he says improve access to affordable inputs such as seeds, fertilizers, chemicals, and credit. Yeah, you know. So these two people, let's talk about maybe the first step. Let's talk about that, because Ruto is saying he will increase farm production by addressing the cost and quality and the access of inputs by providing farmers with working capital to buy them. But on this other side, Raila is also saying, it's like they're saying more or less the same thing, because Raila is also saying improve access to affordable inputs such as seeds, fertilizers, and chemical credits. You know, and this is weird because the deputy president is still active in the president as a vice president.
Yes,
yeah.
he's still active.
So there are things he can do. He can
do.
Call shots right now.
That's
Before
Raila can't.
So there's no way he can tell us that he won't do them right now. But if we vote him in, he will do them. You know. Yeah. So I don't know. What do you think about that?
I think okay, it's a race. Both of them are competing for this seat. So when someone says something, the other person wants to say the same thing, but make it in a different. But it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But as you have told us that whatever you've said, Ruto is in a position whereby Deputy President Ruto is in a position whereby he can do things.
Yeah, he can still call the shots.
The things that he's saying he's going to do after 9, he can do them, but he's in a position to do them.
But it's the same thing because even if you look at the Azimio leader, Raila Odinga also has an option of he can influence the president into decision making of some things, like both the people are crying. The Bay of Mungai is 230, it's around 230 shillings, as opposed to 75 that was then. What can we do about this? They all have a chance to, or they can make an impact to this and make a change to it. But so far, they are taking it on each one's side because of the political gain. Like everyone is trying to sell out their manifesto. So what we're looking at right now, we're trying to see if these ideas that they have they've tried to put here can really work for us. Okay, the first one is okay because if we can get subsidized seeds, we can get access to inputs and provide farmers with working capital to buy them. But as we are right now, we have problems with our rains. We don't have rains. Right now we should be having very heavy rains, but we really don't have them right now. So even if they do this, you get the seeds and everything, and we're still experiencing a lot of drought. I don't think it will be effective to itself. Yeah.
Now the question that I'm actually asking myself is, are we going to wait until the 9th of August so that the prices of commodities can drop? Because what it says there is that we have to wait until that time so that the prices can drop.
So the quick question is, who will really save Kenya from high costs of living? We should look at there are like 5 or 6 things that we should look at. Like, who will save Kenya from the high costs of living? Commodity prices up by more than 50% in 6 months. In a period of 6 months, the commodities have shot like 50%. That's too high for us. It doesn't even give you a warning shot or what to think about or to prepare yourself in that point. There's that issue of a reliance of imports is also hurting the Kenyan economy because we nearly import everything.
We're importing too much.
Yeah. Then thousands face hunger as rains fail. We've just talked about it, because if there are no rains, even if you give us the seeds, it won't really work. Then that's why we are trying to see inside Ruto and Raila plans to end hunger. And it's really biting the economy right now. And everyone is at risk. Unga is something we want.
It's the staple food for Kenyans. Like a family consumes maize flour in about maybe 4 out of 7 days, or maybe even 5 or 6. There's some people even eat unga every day, and telling you that you're going to buy it at 220 shillings on a daily. And let's say your family consumes like 4 kgs,
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough.
That's
let's see what they were. Let's try to compare their ideas. So secondly, there's increase the supply. This is Ruto's take. He says increase the supply of quality seeds, including hybrid and high yield varieties, with continued investment in research and technological adoptions. So he's trying to take us. Technology is now improving, and our farmers need to learn that the technological bit in farming. So if we can incorporate this, then I think it's a plus. Yeah, because if you let's look at Raila's take. Implement minimums, guarantee returns to farmers, and eliminate post-harvest losses. That's also an idea, because if the farmers themselves can get this, maybe they'll be motivated to do more and to get more like large-scale farming compared to the minimal part of it. Because you get, when they do farming, a lot of them have there's go-betweens, you know, they're
Yeah.
like the brokers, you know, between the farmers and their markets.
Yeah.
So if you can reduce that, I think they'll be okay. So both things work. They come in handy. I wish if it wasn't a competition, maybe all these ideas, or whoever gets it online, can pick all these ideas
And
and
put them together.
yeah, incorporate them into one, and let's see how it works, because they really correlate as per now. Yeah. Moving on. The third one on Reuters' side, this is the Daily Nation, it's a front page. He says, provide adequate, affordable working capital to all farmers through cooperative societies. You know, the cooperative societies. Yeah, I don't know how good the cooperative societies work, but I think if they can be, the farmers themselves can be monitored, yeah, through these cooperatives and the societies, then maybe we'll be able to curb a little bit of the farm produce and stuff.
But according to these plans, both the Raila's take and Ruto's take, I see that all of them are saying that they're going to provide capital for these farmers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how true that is. You know, that can be just a manifesto, right? That can be just an idea, a pledge. But how true is that? How sure are we that they are going, whoever, maybe Ruto or Raila, how sure are we that they are going to implement what they are pledging to do? You know? I don't know.
We really don't know, because right now as they stand, all of them are at a point of power, at a point of influence. We won't say that this guy won't do this or this guy. They're all there. They have the platform. They can change that if they want to. But it feels like they're trying to tell the normal Kenyan that you have to give me this so that I can have the mandate to do this.
Yes.
But for us, we feel like they have the mandate already. They can exercise it.
That is a question. How are we going to survive until the 9th of August?
Yeah. Maybe our viewers will tell us more about that.
Okay, what's the fourth?
The fourth one, and this is Ruto's take. He's saying, deploy modern agricultural risk management instruments that ensure farming is profitable and income predictable. You know, and I told you about the new trends in agriculture that are coming up, about agriculture and how you can do it like technologically. Yeah, so if we embrace technology in farming, we are a step ahead, because there's so many things that can happen through that. We'll be able to maximize on our production, on our harvesting techniques. So it's a good thing. Let's also see what Raila has to say. His fourth idea is maintain or introduce budget adjustments to continue with subsidies from fuel in order to keep costs low. You know, this is big, because if you look at these subsidies, like the fuel, if the fuel is low, then the transportation from the farm to reach the urban areas will be low. But you know, you see right now, everything is shooting up. Everything is 50% and above. The fuel prices are high.
Yes.
Everything is high. Where do you start lowering this? Because you'll kill the farmers. If I'm going to get wheat from Naro and I want maybe to bring it to Nairobi, that is transport. The transport cost, for me to get my profits back as a farmer, I have to cater for that transport cost. I have to cater for everything and see myself realize my profits, or else I'm not doing business. And because of that, everything becomes high, you know. So everything is chained to the other. It's linked. It's like from this to this, from fuel to transport to, you know, until it reaches the normal mwananchi. It's hell. It's hell. Yeah, and the fifth one from the Raila's take, he says, invest in the mechanization of digitalization and application of science, technology in agriculture. So you see, all these guys have nearly the same thing, just saying it in different words.
Yeah.
But anyways, the question is, you can keep your comments coming and keep the conversation very alive through our social media platforms, that is Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Please tell us what you think. Are we going to survive till the 9th of August when we get our leaders, you know? How do we plan to survive till then? Because things are just escalating from the normal. Yeah, it's 50% and above. That's too much.
It's crazy.
It's crazy, and the inflation is very high. Yeah. So that is on the Daily Nation about politics of Funga. Yeah.
Now looking at this story here on the Standard, it's on page 6 actually. So let's look at it a bit. So it says, Ruto to Uhuru, I don't need your support to send Raila back home. DP Ruto promises his government will account for all resources. He says he will easily trounce Raila in the August 9 polls. And the reason as to why I picked this story is because how I'm saying DP Ruto is very confident that he's going to get the votes in the 9th election. We don't know, we wish the best for him, but let me quickly read what the newspaper says. Speaking in Imenti, Meru County, yesterday on his second day tour of the Mount Kenya East region, Dr. Ruto hit out at the president, who on Saturday accused him of failing to discharge his duties and offering empty promises to Kenyans. So actually the president accused him of failing to discharge duties that is his work, and offering empty promises to Kenyans. So he was denying that in Imenti, and Dr. Ruto maintained that he was removed from the government, after which the Jubilee development agenda was derailed. Yes.
That one you would ask yourself, really, like, if he says he was removed from the government, would you say that he's not been doing his duties as a deputy president since the handshake? I think it's the handshake.
Yeah.
So after the handshake, but he's still been doing his diligent duty as the deputy of the Kenyan nation. So I don't think that is, because if you look at it, even on the Daily Nation, there's just something here. Maybe I'd read it to you guys. Analysis. It says the ugly public spot. It's really not a good show. First of all, because these are people who've worked together. For him to say that he's not done anything, it's what are they trying to portray at this time? It's really ugly. So this is what the Daily Nation has to say. Uhuru and his deputy Ruto are giving the impression of a warring couple whose common ambition, dreams and philosophies have collapsed. But how far can they take their squabbling before it becomes a social issue rather than a political nuisance? Yeah, it's becoming ugly, the back and forth from way back then. Yeah. So it continues and say the tumultuous relationship between President Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto once again played out in public this week, when the two going hammers and tongs at each other with claims of disloyalty and impudence. That's what I'm talking about. There's that.
It's not a good show.
Yeah, it's not a good show. You see, it's like your one household. It's our wife, husband and the wife, but you come back and quarrel very much in public. Yeah, I think they should just go down, sit and talk. See and talk. That's why I'm telling you, in politics, there are no permanent friends and there are no permanent enemies. Yeah.
So actually, the DP Ruto says here, the price of flour has gone up when these handshake friends removed us from government. The price was at 90 before the handshake, and now Raila tells us we should give him an opportunity to lead. He should go home.
Yeah.
We launched our manifesto on that day, meant to reduce the cost of living, provide employment to youth and empower farmers. You have heard today how my friend the president is angry with that manifesto. He said.
I see.
So according to the DP Ruto, the prices are high because of this handshake.
Because of the handshake, and he was left out. Now, but I don't think that, because when you look at these things clearly, I think they've been going back and forth for the longest time. Yeah, there's a time, and they're accusing each other of different things. Because if I'm just to read about what's written here, they say with claims of disloyalty and impudence, while the president sees his deputy as fraudulent rabble-rouser. Mr. Ruto fires back that Mr. Kenyatta should focus his energy on a league of corruption power brokers calling the shots in his administration. Meanwhile, a disapproving nation looks on, So there's that pointing fingers, But if I point a finger at you like this, these three are still pointing back at me. So
yes.
I don't know unless I do this. So it's bad. It's not a very good picture for us because apart from politics, these guys should just be friends. Should bring this. They are the symbol of unity. So if they break up from the top, I think down here we are not doing great. Yeah, but let's see how it goes, and we'll always keep you posted on whatever is happening. And still on that story about rivalry, there's this sibling rivalry from our good friends, that is Harvey, Nelson Harvey. This is a guy who, the former LSK president, Law Society of Kenya president, Nelson Harvey, who also wants to be the member of parliament of Westlands, through the UDA ticket, is at loggerheads with Musalia Mudavadi. And apparently that they're in the same campaign team. They're all UDA, but they have this rivalry. And you can also get that story on page 8 of the Daily Nation. Just to give you a sneak peek, it says, Harvey attacks Mudavadi in Kenya Kwanza battle. They both vow allegiance to Ruto, but these two sons of the Mulembe nation can't see eye to eye, and one is calling the other ruthless, visionless leader in a tense stance of that race getting nasty. Yeah, everything is getting nasty from the president to the deputy president. Then there's this about Harvey and Mudavadi. We're just praying that everything goes smoothly, because I also read somewhere that these guys are the religious leaders are warning about the petitions that are yet to come. I'll tell you, we'll talk about more about that.
So, well, as we were speaking about that, there's actually a story here about family members on opposite sides of the political divide in polls. That's the likes of Okoth Obado is in different sides with Helen Odhiambo. Yes, and Kariako Tobiko is at opposite sides with Paris Tobiko. Looking here, Moses Kuria is also in opposite sides with Alois Kenyanjui. These are family members actually, and of course Moses Wetangula is at opposite sides with Tim Wanyonyi. So this is something that is actually happening.
Yeah, that is it's a family member stuff.
Saga.
It's a family member stuff. That is, anyways, we'll see how it goes, how they do it, because it's like everyone is on their own.
But it is interesting. It will be interesting actually to see how the siblings and spouses fare in the political bids. Yeah, we are yet to see that.
We're still on the big story of today, which is majority of Kenyans are unable to afford the high prices and foregoing some things like eating 3 meals a day. Eat 3 meals right now is a luxury.
You're very rich.
Yeah, you're very rich and you're very comfortable. It's like it's not pinching you, So that is what exactly we are talking about today. We are trying to get a way out. You see how people are trying to beat the cost of living, because they say the rising prices, it's like 7.9% the inflation in June this year on rising food and fuel prices. We are just into July. Today is 4th of July.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is June. Then 7.5%, the government set ceiling for inflation signaling a crisis in the country amid rising costs of living. Then 58 number of months that have passed since the country witnessed record-setting inflation. Yeah, this is a record-setting right now. We are at a point where it's bad. It's bad. Prices have risen by over 50%, like from January. Yeah, from January to now.
You know,
the prices have risen that high.
You know, I'm putting myself in the
Yeah.
shoes of a normal Mananchi.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people out there are actually scared
Mm-hmm.
to even go to the supermarket
Mm-hmm.
because you don't know
Mm-hmm.
what maize flour right now is costing. You know,
Yeah.
today might be at 2, maybe 20. Then tomorrow you find it's at 300.
It's 300.
Get a heart attack. You know, it's you even wonder what are you going to buy? You're going to buy maize flour.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to leave some of the things? You know, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's very crazy. Let's maybe Wairia will help us with this flour issue. He will help us out with the flour issue.
I don't know.
Let's wait and see. Anyways, the main things that have been highlighted here on the Daily Nation today is like the shortage of rainfall. We talked about it. So there's some places where there is drought. There is a lot of animals dying. The there's no food for the animals, like the hay. You can't get them right now. The elderly and the school-going children also are affected because the elderly cannot work, and the school-going children too have a dependence on provided food from the institution. Yet the institutions are also complaining to the government that they are not getting money to get food.
Yeah.
So it's intertwined, and in the long run we're just hurting and hurting and hurting. Yeah. Yeah, residents of the resident settlement schemes they were relocated from Nyeri, and they were promised that they are going to be able to, where their new settlements, they're going to be able to do good farming, and that hasn't started yet. So I don't know. There's a story here where people, a 79-year-old lady, Miss Josephine Wanjiku, has been relying on well-wishers to feed her and her 4 grandchildren in a situation that has been escalated by the high costs of living. So the main thing is the high costs of living. Yeah. What do you think? According to the World Bank, the rising energy prices is due to the Russia-Ukraine war that has interrupted the global food and energy supplies. So we would say that everyone, it's globally, it's a global pandemic. Yeah, but we are trying to narrow it down to us as the Kenyan society, how we feel right now.
I think the war had some impact on this.
Yeah.
It did,
Yeah,
because actually there was a time that there was no fuel.
Fuel, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
remember that
prices.
time that it was only one petrol station.
Yeah, there were very long queues.
Yeah,
for you to
very
get.
long queues.
Yeah,
you know?
then if we have long queues, then it means that economically we are behind because these people are not being productive. You're
Yeah.
going to be at a petrol station for like 3 hours, which you would have
And the
done
prices of
something.
fuel that time was so high. They're actually carrying it with jerry cans.
Yeah, you had to
You keep
at least you keep so that tomorrow you are able to move.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing they're also saying after the World Bank saying that these prices, this kind of life must have been brought by the Ukraine-Russia war. They're also putting an emphasis on corona, the what? The COVID-19. Yeah, that is that they say here that the Russian-Ukraine war that has interrupted global food and energy supplies, as well as the resurgence of the corona-19 virus. You know, for a time we were negligent about it. I don't know if it was a game plan by the politicians to make us feel like we were relaxed, you know, because when they said, you know, putting on of masks now is at your own peril, it's not a must. So we all relaxed and said, Corona was just a scam. It will come and go. But it has really risen. There are so many cases of Corona.
Yeah.
And we're getting this, that coronavirus pandemic and the resurgence of it has also caused the problem that is we are facing right now, because the infection has grown, and given that so those are like three things that the people are we are here to look at. That is the drought, and we look at the drought, we look at the resurgence of the coronavirus, And let's also look at Ukraine and Russian war as things that have affected our economy to this level. Yeah.
Now, let's quickly look at this story here. How judiciary is sticking its neck out to put IEBC and candidates in order before polls. It says here the judges have decided not to be fence-sitters and have taken every opportunity whenever presented with a petition to direct the commission on what to do. So actually the judiciary is taking part to make sure that the IEBC and candidates are in order as before the polls. And Mother Koome, who is the Chief Justice, says that IEBC has a responsibility to show the country that it has dealt with the concerns raised by courts in the past, based on the Supreme Court findings in 2017 that it failed to conduct the presidential election in accordance with the Constitution. So the judiciary is actually putting it out there that they want to make sure that the IEBC conduct a free and fair election, not like the one that was on in 2017.
Yeah.
You know?
But it's within their duty because we were told, as I told you earlier, there was a story. I think it's on a different page, but there was a story just today that talking about how the judiciary should prepare itself on matters pertaining petitions that are going to come through its way. So it has to put the IEBC on check so that they are able to also put themselves on check, because it comes back to them. We are expecting a lot of petitions this coming elections. That's how it has been analyzed within the newspaper today. Yeah, and let me just take you back before we wind up about the COVID rise that can make only things worse. And I'm think of it as you're on lockdown and the food prices are very high. You're on lockdown. You're not very productive. You're not going to work a 24-hour economy. Then what will it be? So this we are just praying that everything will contain everything and see how it works.
Yeah, I hope everything will work out. But on that note, let's take a very short commercial break here on the Morning Dew Show. This is Isaac TV. Remember, you can reach us on our social media platforms. That is at Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Isaac TV. Our SMS number is always at 0724 121 812. The hashtag is Morning Dew Show. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Morning Dew Show here on Isaac TV, the cradle of goodness. Remember, our SMS number is 0724 121 812. You can reach us on our social media platforms. That is Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Isaac TV. The hashtag is Morning Dew. Now, on this segment, we're actually going to talk about economy, and specifically we're going to talk about mitumba. So there's a story here on the Standard. It's on page. It's on page 5. It's on page 4. Yeah, it's on page 4 of Health and Science. So it says, mitumba, blessing to economy, curse to environment. So we're going to get into details with that, and I just want to quickly read what this newspaper says. The issue of second-hand clothes excites an ever-ending debate owing to its centrality in providing a livelihood to over 2 million Kenyans in the sector. The textile industry also contributes to increased the textile industry, now the mitumba. Now we are talking about the negative effects of it, because it's a blessing to economy, because 2 million Kenyans are in the mitumba market. 2 million Kenyans are doing that job. Maybe purchasing mitumba, importing it, all the way to the person who is now the retailer. That
is, mitumba itself as a venture creates a lot of employment.
So it's a blessing to economy, because if 2 million people are venturing into it, means that a lot of people are able to get employment, right? So it's a blessing to economy, but it's a curse to environment. Now we want to look at it in that perspective, whereby it says here the textile industry contributes rather to increased carbon emissions, affecting climate change besides drying up water sources and polluting rivers and streams. According to a report by Mitumba Institute of Research Center MIRC, Kenya is one of the largest importers of second-hand clothing in sub-Saharan Africa. So let's a bit talk about effects of Mitumba on the environment, how it has been affecting the environment. Because here it says the textile takes 200 years to decompose.
Yeah.
Now imagine, this textile takes 200 years to decompose, and 15% of Mitumba clothes that are recycled after wearing out, while the rest go directly to the landfill or are incinerated. Wow, that's crazy.
So it's because you see, we employ a lot. We import a lot of mtumba to our country because most of us depend on it for our dressing and normal livelihood. So what really happens? How do you dispose of this? You know, because let me take you back to the instance where the Azimio party leader, Mr. Raila Odinga, talked about abolishing the idea of importing mtumba and rather having our textile industries within the country do that for us. And the ideas that were there were like, the industry won't give us like adequate or very good textile, you know. They're not up to standard. So you see, in that case, if we decide to produce our own textile, we'll still have a problem with the economy because there's no way we don't know where we're going to dump this. And you said it's taking around
it takes 200
years
to decompose.
You know. So it's a very big issue. If you would say we ban them or something, we're still having a problem with the ozone layer because we're emitting very bad fuels to it. But we cannot also do without it. You know. Yeah.
It says here the market has hundreds of t-shirts and dresses hanging from rails, trousers, folded on wooden tables, and thousands of other clothing items jumbled on cotton sheets on
from
the ground.
Curtain, from the beds.
Yeah. The ones that maybe cannot be bought by people, they're just thrown away.
Yeah, but the best thing, why? But let me ask you something. Why wouldn't we just recycle them?
How are we going to recycle?
If I put on this shirt and I don't feel like putting on this shirt no more, can give it out to the next available person.
But how many people in Kenya are willing to reason as the way you're reasoning right now?
Now that's what I'm trying. I'm trying to impose that to you so that we find a way, because we are not getting rid of this anytime soon, and economically it also it gives us a lot of revenue, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of us are able to, given the economy right now, we are able to accomplish the idea of clothing through this. Yeah, because it's a business venture.
Yeah.
It helps again in your daily life. So I think the only problem is the disposal of it, you know. And it happens so that mtumba is not only the clothes that you put on. It's the mats, it's the bed sheets, it's the curtains, all that is mtumba. So I don't know.
And actually it's very affordable because prices range between 100 for a short and 200 for trousers. So it's actually very affordable to normal citizens.
Yeah, it's a little bit cheaper compared to unga.
Oh yeah, actually when you think of it in that perspective, it's actually cheaper.
Yeah.
So, and I think that is why a lot of people actually wear mitumba, is because it's affordable. You can be able to buy, you know, as opposed to these new clothes.
You know, there's really good mtumba. There's fast quality
camera.
Mtumba. Yeah, it's camera. Yeah. Talk about camera. It's fast quality. I put it on, you don't feel like you're in mtumba or something. So, and that most of us that's where we are. Yeah, we're going to use mtumba for the next, I don't know how many years.
Do you think we will ever get to a point where we'll shift
to what?
from mtumba to, you know, our own textiles?
Yeah, we can do that because we've had provinces from the politicians. I think that the last manifestos the politicians had was I was in Kisumu. They were like, oh, there's a textile industry in Kisumu. It's called Kikomi. It was working way back, I think, during the Kenyatta times. So we've been having a lot of talks when this time of period, politicians promising that we're going to reopen this, we're going to do what. But the problem is what quality will they be bringing to the market so that to stop us from importing from other markets. Because that was a problem when Raila said that thing the other time that we want to try and uplift our textile industries, bring them back to life. Then people were like, okay, you want to bring them back to life. What's the quality of the material that you're going to use? How long will I stay with this cloth before it's rendered redundant or you cannot ever put it on again yet? So those are some of the problems that you're looking at. And now that we brought this, we'll also have to look at this before bringing back the textile industry, because we also have to look where these wastes going to. How are we going to be friendly to our environment? There's the ozone layer being fucked up, being messed up because of the
textile.
No, basically the smokes, the
global warming.
Yeah, the global warming part of it.
Yeah, and now that you're speaking about the quality, according to analytics done, the reason as why Kenyans don't prefer Kenyan-made clothes is because they say that they are of poor quality.
Yeah.
They are not durable. They are not fashionable, as opposed to the mitumba, because you can find very, very nice clothes.
Let me tell you something positive about the mitumba is that you'll never find matching stuff. Like unlike the boutiques, when you go, they come in dozens. If it's this shirt, this shirt of yours, they'll come in dozens. There'll be 12. But the good thing about mitumba,
it's only one.
It's only one.
Or
it's
two.
only or two. Yeah. So you won't see people in the streets having the same thing.
Is that why we are? Is that why we like mitumba?
No, I think that is one of the things
The
why people.
originality.
Yeah. If you ask guys to talk about it, I think that is one thing that you should appreciate, that it's stylish on its own. You won't be the same. And like when you go to a boutique, you'll find them arranged like, you just choose your size, whether you are XXL or you're the small one.
But the color is the same.
But everything is the same. But this is mitumba. It's original. It's one in a million.
So taking your perspective, how about we create our own textiles, but we make it original in a way that this cloth is different from this one and this one and this one?
Still, the problem is the quality. How long are you going to put it on before it fades out? Then when it fades out, how are you going to get rid of it? Even if you decide to recycle it and put it as a duster, at some point you'll have to let it go. So those are the things we have to look at before we trash this business. And how many people are we going to get off the employment? Because it feeds a lot of people, because it entails transport from one place to another. That is employment. The people are going to buy them. Even the least, that small one, mitumba is lucrative because even the smallest things, you can sell them. Because when you go there in the morning, get it, the camera ones, those are the best. Now they're taken by these guys. They go wash them and maybe put them in boutiques or business. Then there are those that are like, okay, these ones you can take, but they still get sold, because when you go to the streets at night, you'll find these same things are sold 30, 50,
So you buy because
and people still buy it because mitumba is there for everyone. So in terms of the environment, that's the only problem you're having right now. And the only best thing we can do for now is recycle or give them out, to maybe.
So who are we giving out to? Who are we giving the Mutumba to?
You can donate them to children homes. Yeah, you can give them out to churches. They know something to do with that. You know, it's better than you letting it decay in your backyard or something. So when they put them on, but they'll also appreciate, you know. Yeah. But in the long run, all this will just be like lengthening the problem, because if they finish wearing them, where will they take them? You know?
Exactly.
So we still have that same problem. But at all, if anyone has if you guys have a way out,
an idea
or you
of how
think,
we can,
you can talk to us and tell us more on what you think. Yeah.
So according to Mitumba Institute and Research Center, that is MIRC, it is a huge source of employment, the Mitumba now, because about 2 million Kenyans working in Mitumba market. 2 million Kenyans are working in the Mitumba market, making it a critical contributor to employment, besides being a source of government revenue. So let's talk about government revenue. So it is very critical for us to abolish Mitumba, because it is a source of government revenue, and of which we need the revenue.
Yeah, as I told you, they bring in a lot of money. Yeah, that business brings in a lot of money, because it gives employment to so many people, diversely. It's diverse, you know. There are people who major maybe on shorts, there are people who major on shoes, there are people who major on, you know. There's that diversity in that business, and it's everywhere, even in the smallest towns. So I'm sure the revenue generated from it is very big. Yeah.
Now the negative side here, 10% of humanity's carbon emissions from fashion production. Okay, 85% amounts all the textile produced and dumped annually.
Yeah.
85%.
Have you ever been to Mukuru?
Mukuru Jenga.
Yeah, around that side. There's a place where there's a dump site. Have you ever been to that place?
No, unfortunately not.
That place is hell. It's living hell. You get everything that cannot decay. It's all there. Like I've always asked myself, the Pampers, there's no one coming up with a way we can make them decay or something, instead of just throwing them all over the place and letting them be there. You know? If there was a way we could, because we are sure we can't recycle them, so if there's a way we could do something about it, then we would have changed the look of everything. And the same thing happens to Mitumba.
Yeah. Kenya is actually experiencing more textile waste from Mitumba, yet less than 15% of the clothes are recycled after wearing out, while the rest go directly to the landfill sites or are incinerated. And I think as of now we cannot abolish Mitumba, because 2 million Kenyans are in this business, which means if you say no, we are not going to do Mitumba way, means that 2 million people will be unemployed in one way or another. So I think the best thing is to actually find a way whereby we can make it easier, so that it does not affect our environment. There is no global warming and pollution and all that stuff.
So basically we're still seeing the ways we can do it, but one thing we are sure of is we are not going to abolish Mitumba anytime soon. Even if we start our own textiles, we want the textiles to show us that we can rely on them. What if we abolish this and they don't even last for 6 months? So for now, we're going to work with this, and we hope that the scientists and the environmentalists will be able to give us a way forward on how we are able to take care of our environment.
And even you have ways, if you know how to, maybe we can cut this issue, the environment issue, you can tell us on our social media at Diaspora TV, or on our SMS number, that is 0724 121 But right now, let's take a very short commercial break. But when we come back, we'll be talking matters lifestyle. Don't go anywhere. back to Morning Day Show here on Isaac TV, the cradle of goodness. Remember, you can reach us on our social media handles, that is Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Isaac TV. Our SMS number is 0724 121 812. The hashtag is Morning Dew. Now, on this segment, lifestyle segment, we're going to talk about betting and betting farms.
Of course, because we are looking at the betting and the betting farms. We've realized that today's bulletin, there's some news that the betting farms have not renewed their license for the year 2022-2023. And I want us to discuss this in a layman's, in a Wanjiku kind of setting. Let's not discuss it in terms of the betting companies, but let's see what the betting companies bring to us on the table. Yeah. So first of all, we know that they really generate a lot of revenue in our country.
Yes.
Yeah, and they also help to curb the economy as it is today, because we are facing hard times. So many people have run into trying to bet just to make ends meet. Yeah, I realized there was a time Sportpesa was giving around 200,000 shillings. 200 million shillings. That was the jackpot.
Wow. Imagine getting 200 million shillings. Poof, just like that because of betting.
That would be a life changer,
You know?
Yeah, it's a game changer. So the idea is right now, most betting sites have not renewed their license. The BCLB has given to them, it's a BCLB 97. Yeah, that is their number. Yeah, the number. So they have not been registered. So what is this for? What does this mean to the normal mwananchi? You know, there are people who are doing betting as work.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are people who rely on it. You know, either virtual, either physical, whether you go to casinos or not. You know, so it all depends. It all depends on that. So today I want us to talk about the economy, how it affects the economy. Let's just start there. The thing is, we know that these people bring in a lot of revenue.
Yes.
Yeah, they fetch in a lot of revenue to the government. So having them not being licensed is not something that helps us as government, as the people of Kenya.
Does it mean that right now the betting is not profitable, or why has it gotten to a point where they have not renewed their license?
I don't know really why I don't know what the hinders them from doing that, but I don't think it's the money, because the money they generate a lot of things.
Yeah.
So I think it's the government or the guys who are supposed to license them that have a problem with it. Because there's been a problem with the foreign policy that governs the betting sites, because you find that the government takes a lot of revenue from them. You remember there's a time that Sportpesa in itself left the country after it was doing a lot for us.
Yes.
Yeah, it had opened foundations, it had opened a lot of things, but it stopped because of the implementations that were put on it by the government. Yeah, the government had very harsh proposals to it, but at least they came back, and we are trying to do that. So you see, so many people are earning from that.
Yes.
So many people are able to get it. So economically, it's a boost.
It's a boost.
Yeah. Then let's talk about the dependency. All this dependency that people depend on it so much. The league is coming back, and football fans, sports fans, the runs, all these people do the bets. So their life depends on it. And right now that there is no employment, most youths have run into trying to get their money through the bettings, which is a good thing. It's better than you being a criminal.
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah, because you stake whatever you have and see whatever you can get out of it. So right now, the question we are all asking ourselves is, why are they licensed?
Why?
Because if they are not licensed, it means we cannot indulge. If we don't indulge with these economic times, we won't propel. If we won't propel, then we are a sinking nation.
Does it mean now that it is illegal for you to do the betting right now?
No, I don't think it's illegal, because there's so many sites that are doing this.
So is it still running?
Yeah, it's still running. Okay. But at some point, there'll be, if you're not licensed, then you won't be able to operate. The only good thing is we are not limited to one kind of provider, betting provider. There's so many people who can give us betting sites where you can bet. or you can go just normally or physically to the casinos and do maybe match and play. You can also, But the thing is, for it to be authentic, they have to be licensed. You get? So we've looked at it in terms of economy, how fruitful it is, and we've already established that they give us revenue. They're like mitumba. It's a lot of revenue.
Yes,
there's a lot of money coming back. So dependency. Now I want you to see the normal youth in Kenya who has no job. He has got 100 shillings. These 100 shillings, he knows he can bet using maybe 10 shillings. And maybe, I would multiply it, maybe get 200 shillings out of it.
But is it guaranteed?
That what?
Are there times that maybe you bet with your 100 shillings, then you lose the 100 shillings? Or is it guaranteed that every time you're betting with 100 shillings, you're sure that you're going to get maybe 1,000 or 2,000 shillings?
Now betting is gambling. So it depends. If you act smart, and it's just, patapotea. You've had patapotea.
Yes.
Have you ever been into situations where you go to I don't see them these days in the street, but while I was a kid, there used to be those people who had boxes, and they would pile boxes and cards, and they would come to you and be like, "Hii ndio iko na pesa, unaiona?" Patapotea. It's around the same thing. Then you choose it, then like, you got it, and you go, okay, let me try again. The next time you lose your money. So the house always wins at times.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not guaranteed that you're actually going to get the money?
No, it's not guaranteed.
Okay.
It depends whether it's just luck. Yeah.
Oh.
It's if you're lucky, you get it. If you're not, you count your losses and try later. Yeah. The only problem with betting is it's addictive, and you might end up losing everything you ever worked for because of betting. Because you lose today and you're like, tomorrow I can do it better. Tomorrow you win a little bit, then you try again, and the whole thing comes a mess. But apart from that, I know that our Kenyan economy, our young men and women out here fairly try to bet just to make ends meet, because there's that unemployment case. And here is where you just sit with your phone, look at some teams and see, and put a stake. You've done betting before?
No.
Okay.
But I think I'll try.
This is us. So you bet, and you wait for the outcome. If you make it, you might bet with 100 shillings and get the 200,000 shillings, 200 million. You'll have changed your wardrobe and everything.
Let's talk about the addiction. I've heard you say about addiction.
Yeah.
How addictive is betting? Like, is it to a point whereby you can spend up to 50,000 trying to get the 200 million set as the jackpot?
It's very addictive. And that is a problem, as I mentioned earlier. It's a problem because we've found people who have gambled everything, plus their houses and even their wives too. There are instances, if you look carefully, there are instances where people have gambled everything away because it's a game it's a mind game. And if you try casinos, they'll tell you in casinos the house always wins. There's no way the house is going to go broke because of you, but you're going broke. So you get people even betting at 500,000, 50,000, 100,000. It depends.
And they lose it all.
The idea is use money to get money. But if you don't do your calculations well, then you're going to lose that money. So right now, I don't know why we are having economic problems. We are having economic times, and we're having a lot of problems. But the government is still not resilient in giving the betting funds a chance to renew their licenses. You get? Because I don't know why. Maybe there's a loophole within. Maybe they're trying to tame our youths, because so many people also. This thing is a two-way traffic. It can get you out of the economic problem or bring you back into the economic problem. Because some people, when they don't have this money to bet, they go into criminal activities. You get? To just for them to bet. But at the same time, there are some people who use this betting to keep up their livelihood going on. So it's a two-way traffic. But I think licensing them would be the first thing to do for us as a nation to accept it, that it's legal. But if they're not licensed right now, then it's not legal, then it won't work. And in the lifestyle that we are in right now, we need money. Okay? That's why you see so many people getting off Kenya, going elsewhere to look for work, for greener pastures. Then they end up getting there, and you hear very weird stories. And again, like I've heard stories of the Middle East and how they do people. It's not really worth it. If you're leaving home to go get greener pastures, then they do that to you. You'd rather stay home. Yeah, if you listen to those stories, they are very heartbreaking. Yeah.
I think betting should have measures.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're saying it's addictive to a point whereby you can use your 500,000 so that you can get the 2 million, of which you're not sure. You're betting. It's
called patapotea.
You're patapotea.
You either get it or you don't get it.
A bit of measures, you know, depending on the ages, because.
And I would also understand if the government would feel not inclined to give them these betting sites renew their contracts, because there's a problem, you know. We've had instances where people would go to extremes where they even commit suicide because they've taken it so personal, you know. I think that before we give these betting sites a chance, we should educate the masses of the dangers of indulging too much, because people have lost their lives. We've had instances where people are like, I did bet with everything I had. I lost my bet. Where do I start from? They end up being suicidal. They end up, you know, there's so many things that happen in with it. Yeah.
You know, I can only imagine if I lose like 500,000 and I'm maybe 25, I would definitely lose my mind.
Yeah,
that's
you would.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
Because in my head, I was expecting to get the 2 million, but now I've put 500,000 and I go home empty.
Yes, that is everything you had. Maybe you sold your land, your only small land that you had. So that's all you have right now. And you did bet it all, and now there are no returns, you know. There's a way, there should be a mechanism where we have maybe counselors or people who will be able to help us take care of this. Or maybe within the betting sites we should have people who are able, or maybe agreements or something that can help these people, you know. Because there's also greed where you've won, you still want more. In the long run, you find yourself.
But why don't you go home? If you are you're betting with 2,000, you get 10,000. Please go home, come back tomorrow. Why do you want to risk your 10,000?
It happens. You know, let me give you an example. You give me a 1,000 shilling note right now. I double it. I give you 2,000 shillings. Yeah, it's your first time betting. I'm the house. You're the betting guy. You gave me 1,000. I double your bet. It's 2,000. You get?
Yeah.
You feel like, okay, now I've given you a deal. So you feel like, okay, what if now I put this 2,000 all in? That means I'll get 4,000, yeah? So you're like, okay, let me try with 2,000 again to get 4,000. Then what happens?
You lose the 2,000.
It all goes, you know, the house, that's the idea of the house always wins.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you win the first time, you lose the second time.
No, it's not guaranteed that you lose the second time. You might win. There's this country music. I don't know if you've heard it. There's this country music that say, know when to walk away. Yeah. There's that. It's called Gambler. Yeah, that's the name of the song. It's called Gambler. You guys can listen to it. You should know when to walk away. Because if you don't walk away, then you leave everything you've got there. Yeah, that's the problem about. That's why I'm telling you it's addictive. Yeah, the little thing you get, you go back. And if you lose everything, you go back to your place and see what asset can I have. So that's the only problem you have with betting. But in terms of revenue and keeping the economy steady, I think they've really tried. Yeah, so whatever it is, we don't know what the government is derailing these people from renewing their licenses, but when we get to know really what is happening to it, then we'll keep you posted. But as per now, we are hoping that you do your bets wisely. Yeah, it's not personal, it's not It's not something that you should kill yourself for,
Mm.
but it's something that can keep you moving. So don't put it at heart. Just do it with your brain and see how it works. Yeah, that's what we can say right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you can tell us how these betting being not licensed, how it is affecting. Maybe it's affecting you in one or another. You can tell us on our platforms, that is 0724-121-812. But right now, this is the time for us to sign out because our time has come. But we will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. I've been your host, Mungai.
And I am your host, Andy Mike Kilambo. See you guys tomorrow.
Have a good day.